Good morning. It is so exciting to see such a big group up here, and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Tammy Clark. I'm the Dean of Clinics here at Palmer West, and I'd like to extend a very special welcome to our current 9th quarter class, as well as their family, friends, and any of our faculty who are attending today. I'd also like to give a shout out and thanks to Chuck and his team, the facilities and IT team, as well as your class coordinator, Jillian, for all of their hard work in making this special occasion possible. And Jillian has done an excellent job wrangling all of you guys. So big shout out to all of you. So in today's ceremony, we are going to officially recognize our newest group of Palmer West chiropractic interns. This pinning ceremony marks a significant milestone on their journey to become a chiropractor. It marks the culmination of 2.5 years of hard work thus far, and it also marks the beginning of the next phase of their chiropractic education, their clinical internship. Most of you guys finished your undergraduate studies just as the world was trying to figure out how to deal with an unprecedented pandemic. You began your journey here at Palmer while we were still adapting and figuring out how to administer education and the changes associated with it brought out by COVID. Almost a year ago, you all heard the news that Palmer will be phasing out operations here at the West Campus. And yet through all of that, you have persevered. You set your course and you continue to follow your dreams, and you guys have thrived. You've all definitely undergone a tremendous amount of personal and professional growth and transformation over these last couple of years. You have been preparing for this day through countless classes, endless hours of studying, more exams than you care to even think about, and hours upon hours of hands-on practice. This quarter, you have been learning how to work and navigate the student clinic, and you've been learning your way through our electronic health records. That's a big learning curve, and you guys have done remarkably well. You are ready. Today, we will mark your official transformation from student to intern. Your class is a group of very unique individuals, and now you're going to be joining the larger cohort of Palmer interns, clinicians, and clinic staff. As part of this tribe, you will be working together with the common goal of providing the best possible care to our patients. And over the next year, we will all continue to constructively challenge and shape you as you move closer and closer to your graduation. As you begin seeing patients in the outpatient clinic, you will have times where you will feel overwhelmed, maybe a little uncertain, and sometimes overcome with doubt. I want to encourage you to take ownership of all of your experiences in the clinic, even the uncertainties, allow them to challenge you, and allow yourself to grow from them. Work together, continue to support each other, and make every effort to get the most out of your clinic experience. As we continue, I'd like to take a moment to just remind all of you why you're here. You're here because you have chosen to take on the responsibility of becoming a physician. You've chosen a career where you will be responsible for guiding your patients towards optimal health, and you have made the brilliant decision to choose Palmer West to learn to become the best doctor of chiropractic that you can possibly be. In the upcoming year, you will be building your very first chiropractic practice. You heard me right. Your first practice. Some of you are dreaming of your first practice after you graduate, but in reality, your first practice begins right here in our Palmer Clinic. Here, you will be responsible for the care and management of your patients. You'll be promoting and growing this first practice of yours. You'll be working with an exceptional staff that is here to support you, and you'll have colleagues to collaborate with. You will be guided by your mentor clinicians, and it is up to you how much effort that you will put into this very first practice of yours. and it's up to you how much you'll get out of it. I want to establish a very high bar for you, right here, right out of the gates. Your time in the clinic is so much more than earning the minimum number of credits necessary to graduate. It's about laying a foundation that will shape the kind of doctor that you will become, and I want you all to try to get the maximum amount out of this experience. Today truly is a very special day. I still remember my pinning ceremony, which was quite a while ago. I'll never forget the patients that I had when I was an intern here at Palmer West. I'll never forget how much I learned from my patients. I'll never forget how much I learned from my mentor clinician. I remember Dr. Snow, who's going to be speaking next, when he was a relatively new faculty member and I was still an intern. And I want you all to trust me when I say that the next year of your careers is going to be one of the most formative and memorable times of your life. And it's going to move very, very fast. I consider it a great privilege that we all get to be a part of your journey. And I trust that you will all continue to make us proud as you enter your outpatient clinic experience. I'm now going to invite Dr. Snow, our Senior Campus Administrator and Dean of Academic Affairs, to the podium to say a few more words to you. Dr. Snow.
It always makes me feel old when she says that. But then I'm reassured when I look into the crowd and I see my mentor clinician, Dr. Souza. It was my mentor clinician, and from whom I learned a lot, but sitting in the audience. So but there's fewer of those around. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate this day with us. Celebrations are really important for a community. And, you know, we all have that big celebration at the end when you graduate and we move your tassels from right to left. And, you know, that's a huge event. And, of course, we celebrate when you enter the institution. And I imagine there's probably celebrations at the conclusions of every quarter that I probably don't want to know about. But I can imagine they're there because you have the right to celebrate those accomplishments. But the pinning ceremony is the major celebration that we have officially during the course of your education, because it's when you move from being student to intern, which in reality means that you begin to represent Palmer, the profession, and yourselves to the public in an official capacity. That's a really big responsibility. And so it's one that, you know, I want you all to think about and consider as not only as you're in the clinic with your white jackets on and rendering the outstanding care that you've been trained to do, but also when you're not in the clinic. Because that becomes the reality of your life moving forward, is that you become the doctor, healthcare provider, and then that title doesn't go away when you're out in public. So keep that in mind, because regardless of if you're in the clinic or out in public, your actions dictate your reputation. I've had the pleasure of working with you guys as a class. You're an outstanding class, and I know we're going to get great things out of you from the clinic. And I have my, I guess, wisdom that I would share with you, having been in the clinics for quite some time, both as a clinician and as the clinic dean. You have a tremendous opportunity in front of you. And it will be entirely up to you to determine how much you're going to take advantage of it. We train them to do a lot of stuff in our curriculum here. And you know, I was reflecting on that earlier this week too. It's, if you knew how much they knew, you'd probably be 10 times more impressed than you are already. And that's because the part of what we learn and what we do as chiropractors that the patient actually sees is really pretty minimal. And that goes for a lot of professions. You know, many of you may have been trained in something and you learn this really broad array of stuff, and then you go to apply it and it's very narrowly applied. And that's the same thing for chiropractic. And there's a reason that term doctor is attached to what we do, because these individuals know so much about the physiology, the anatomy, the pathophysiology, the biochemistry, the nutritional and other needs, the impact of lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those things come into play with different patients in different ways. But they're extremely knowledgeable individuals, and they hold the capacity to dramatically change other people's lives for the good and to enhance their quality of life. And I think, you know, to me, chiropractors are quality of life doctors. Not so much crisis care doctors. We have a lot of those in the medical profession, and they do outstanding work there, and they're tremendously needed. We don't have as many quality of life doctors. And that's what these people are going to do, and they're going to do it in a really safe, effective way. And so I know that, you know, the training you've had over the past 2 years has put you in a place where, if we had to right now, we could cut you free and you could go out and get people better. And it's not going to happen, sorry. But you have that skill, but you haven't yet had the chance to kind of, as I like to say, being a vegetable gardener, you haven't had that chance to ripen on the vine. And that's a really important process. And I'm sure all of you have reflected on the skills that you have now and what you want to get better at over the next year. There's an element, though, that I think it's hard to train. It's hard to have a class on it. We do a little bit of it in 10th quarter. But that's your ability to communicate with people. And if you go out and poll practice management people or other successful chiropractors or business people, communication may very well be the #1 skill that you need to be successful in your practice. Because it's communication that gets people into your offices, helps them understand what you do and why you do it, which keeps them in your offices, and allows you then to apply those skills. You make the choice as to who you talk to and what you're going to talk to them about. Do you avoid and what you do and why you do it? Or do you seek out opportunities to do that? And you'll probably find this next year that you'll be in with your mentor clinicians guiding you along their way, and you'll go in and you'll take a history and you'll ask questions and you'll get information, and then your clinician will say, well, we need to know this, or why did you ask this, or whatever the case may be. And they'll come in then and they'll start asking questions, and they'll get way more information out of that patient asking the same questions you did than you get. And so why does that happen? It happens because of the nonverbal communication that goes along with the actual words that are coming out to the person in the room. And it's that nonverbal communication that gives confidence in you and puts the patient at ease and makes them feel that you know what you're doing, right? And that allows them to share more. The only way you get there is just like with your adjusting and other skills, it's through practice. And so my advice to you over this next year is take the most advantage that you can of your opportunities to speak to other people about what you do and why you do it, and to hear what their questions are so that you can start developing answers to those questions. The good news is there's really only so many questions out there. They're kind of framed different ways by different people, but the real skill is hearing those questions enough to develop effective, honest answers to them. And so that practice goes not only to the practice of your adjusting and your history taking and your listening skills and all those other things, and knowing how to plug it all into an EHR, oh joy. But it goes into the communication that you will have with your patients effectively. And so, take advantage of that over this next year in as many ways as possible and as much as possible. And those of you over here and out there, make them talk to you. Ask them hard questions and let them know when the answer is like, yeah, okay, but that didn't really answer my questions, or I still have another question, or, how do you explain this? Because when you do that, you make them better. And you accelerate their time frame to success in their practices and their abilities to get people well. So I know it's a lot. I know it's taken a lot to get you here. And as Dr. Clark alluded to, the path has not been easy, but the best captains are those who experience rough seas, right? Those are the most trusted captains. And so we have some awesome captains here. And I know you guys are going to be outstanding doctors and do outstanding work in the clinic, and I appreciate all the effort you've put in to date. Got a little over a year to go, or what, a year to go? Yeah, a year? 5 quarters, 4 quarters. Yeah, a year to go. And then you'll all be back for the big celebration with the funny hats. And so anyway, congratulations to you all. I look forward to hearing all the great experience that you have in the next year, and enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snow. So normally, at this point in the pinning ceremony, I would be inviting our ASG, or Associated Student Government President, to the podium to say a few words. But since the ASG President, Greg Nelson, is officially becoming an intern today, Anne-Marie Wilson, the ASG Vice President, is going to step in on his behalf. Anne-Marie?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for letting me speak today and be part of your special ceremony. As Dr. Clark mentioned, my name is Anne-Marie Wilson, and I am ASG's Vice President. I'm so happy to be here today, as this cohort is one that I hold very near and dear to my heart, as many of you guys are some of my closest friends here. I've had the honor of taking many classes with you guys and seeing what incredible interns you guys have become. You all have worked very hard these past 2 years to be here today. You have sacrificed time with both family and friends, and many of you have moved across the country or from another country to attend school here. And you should be very proud of your accomplishments and what you have achieved. As you look around, everyone here today is so proud of you as well. My piece of advice for you guys is to continue to strive and learn new things every single day, and be great at your passion for helping others feel better. You all look great in your white coats, and on behalf of ASG and all the student body, congratulations again.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. All right, so we are almost to the official pinning part of this ceremony. But before we begin the official pinning part, I'd like to share some final thoughts for you to reflect on while we do that part of the ceremony. So on your path to become a doctor, you are going to experience a number of things, as Dr. Snow alluded to and as you have heard. But in the coming year, I want you to think about these things that you are going to encounter and discover. In the coming year, you're going to discover the power of your touch and the importance of your words. You will discover how important it is to understand that your patients are human beings, not just a diagnosis to be treated or a credit to be earned. You will discover that to understand your patient's pain means truly understanding your patient, their values, their worries, their hopes, and their dreams. You will discover that empathy and human connection are as critical to healing as your hands and your knowledge are going to be. You'll discover the humbling honor and responsibility associated with overseeing your patient's care personally and with excellence. And you'll discover that being a chiropractor means a lifetime of learning and that being a chiropractor is truly a calling, not just a profession. And as you go out into the world as a chiropractor, you will be representing Palmer West. I have no doubt that you will represent us very well. So, with that said, it has come to the official time for the presentation of your clinic pins. This will formally symbolize your transition from student to intern. Dr. Dahl Betty, our amazing director of clinics, will be reading your names, and when your name is called, you will come forward. Now, here's how it's going to go. This is going to be the more complicated part. We have two complicated things coming up. First off, we have to move this podium. That's more complicated than you realize. And then after that, the way this will work is Dr. Betty will call your name. Raymond, you're going to be first. So Dr. Betty will call your name. You'll come up, I'll present your pin, and we'll take one picture, and then I'll go ahead and pin it on your lapel, and we'll take one more picture, and we'll work our way through that. That's
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, let's get the party started. Raymar Adams. Shan Balagosa. David Berrigan.
Yeah.
Joseph Bell. Kendrick Ansley Cagden. Michael Chang. Sean Chen. Patrick Chu. Lucy Earl. Jennifer Kikianage. Nick Hoekstra. Garrett Kelly. Sarah Kennedy. Frida Kiernan. Sunmin Lee. Benjamin Lin. Rahim Mahboubi. Harkirat Munn. Darren Miguel. Nikki Nasiri. Grahawi Saletsky. Victoria Santelices. Navjot Shergill. Ronnie Schnudi. Brody Thompson. Oscar Torres. Marissa Uy. Giovanni Vasquez. Mai Bo. Roy Ibarra. Felicia Zamora.
Yeah, bicho!
I look forward to working with you closely over the next year.
All right. Let's officially welcome our newest group of Palmer West chiropractic interns. And as Dr. Snow mentioned, the next time we will be gathering to celebrate this bunch will be about a year from now during the end of winter 2024 when they all graduate and become doctors. So we'll see you all again then.